Late night TV is at the edge of collapse, and Piers Morgan has seen enough. He knows who to blame, and it's the very insane Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Fallon, Jon Stewart, and more. Today, we'll tell you what he had to say, along with even more complaints from the one, the only, Jay Leno. Hello, folks, and wouldn't you know it, you're back at the place that keeps you ahead of the culture curve. Explaining entertainment is our forte, and we're getting ready to get underway. Folks, as we do, click the like button, and let's dive right on in. Ladies and gentlemen, taking a look at this out of Deadline, Piers Morgan says late-night hosts are hyper-partisan activist acts for the Dems. And it's no wonder Stephen Colbert got canned. This is by Natalie Oganesyan. I did not get that. Oh well. While Stephen Colbert has received plenty of support from fellow television mainstays and late-night hosts following the unceremonious cancellation of The Late Show, Piers Morgan is not among them. Earlier today, the British media personality took to X to slamify Colbert and other longtime late-night hosts, alleging these figures were nothing more than puppets for the Democratic Party. Morgan said, "This is so damnifying," alongside a cover of the New York Post that outlined the political leanings of Colbert's guests, which skewed towards the left. No deadline. He literally only had one person who you would not consider to be on the far left. He had one in the past year.
And it was Liz Cheney.
Yeah, I was going to say that's
arguable. It was Liz Cheney who was there to bash Trump.
Yes. So Colbert does not allow people of the other viewpoints to be on his show. And that's why he doesn't have an audience with people of other viewpoints watching his show. Most of America's biggest late-night hosts have become nothing more than hyper-partisan activist hacks for the Democrats, a party that's rarely been more unpopular. No wonder Colbert got canned. More will follow. This from Piers Morgan. Guys, I just want to stop there and say, I'm seeing the divide begin to form. It's not just Piers Morgan that's doing this. We're also seeing Bill Maher now take a more centrist position. That seems to be the survivable place to be. I think Piers Morgan is making a very astute strategic move. And I just wonder, do you think that there are any late night hosts at this point who will try to go with him? Do you think Jimmy Fallon might say to himself, I kind of would like not to be canned. Maybe I'm going to go back to be the guy who laughs in a silly way. And that's what I'm known for, not political takes. What say you?
Fallon, maybe. But Kimmel, Seth Meyers, Jon Stewart, none of them are going to change even an iota. It's almost like they're daring to be canceled at this point. Because I think Jimmy Kimmel knows he's in his final season. But I think Jimmy Fallon knows that without the Tonight Show, he's got nothing. So he's going to hold on for grim death. He's the one that does the least amount of political humor. So it would be he'd be the one that's the easiest to pivot. So he can go from doing unfunny political humor to just doing his unfunny normal humor.
That's a great point. And as we're looking at who might be able to make the pivot, of course, I don't think Kimmel can make a change. Colbert is definitely, it's too late. Why would he make the change? I think Colbert is actually daring them to fire him because there's money to be made and there's a victim status that he can achieve. And then he gets to go on MSNBC or CNN or wherever he lands, which is not going to be as prestigious as where he is right now. But he gets to go somewhere and say, oh, no, I stood up against the orange man and I took it on the chin. And he's not going to say out loud, and I made a lot more money because they had to fire me and my contract had a golden parachute. Hey,
Pro, here's my thing. What do you think would happen if when they don't renew Kimmel, Disney hires Colbert?
No.
That's possible. It could happen.
Listen, we are watching right now as, and by the way, we'll get to this in just a minute. The legacy media journalists are entering the final stages of Colbert grief out of the Hollywood in toto. We're going to get there, folks, in just a minute. But no, listen, Disney is trying to extricate themselves from The View. I mean, they're trying to get rid of that situation. The View is on a longer hiatus. It's clear that there's something going on there. So I don't think Disney is going to jump from Kimmel to Colbert or anybody else. I think the only one that is left standing on the networks after this is going to be the house that Johnny Carson built, and we're waiting to see if Fallon will be there driving it. I don't know yet. What do you guys say?
I think that's a reasonable assumption. In the video I did this morning, I kind of broke this down approximately the same way, and it was with great help of Marvin's article over on That Park Place. I think that I think that this guy is at the point where he's daring them to fire him. There is a bigger upside on being let go as far as the financial benefit, unless it's for some, outlined cause in his contract. And it could be that Paramount maybe just cancels the deal with the actual show producer. One of the smartest people I know reminded me that Worldwide Pants actually produces that particular program, and they are also under no obligation to air it in its given time slot that I'm aware of. So why not put it on at 3 a.m?
Not a bad idea. Well, let's take a look now at how the legacies are handling this. And this is why you're starting to see people like Piers Morgan and Bill Maher drift back to the middle, is because they actually want to stay on the air. They're not completely partisan hackery. It says, Legacy Media Journal's enter final stage of Colbert grief. Reporters shared Jay Leno's logical take on late night TV's death spiral. This by a friend of the channel, Christian Toto. It says, excuse me, it says the Legacy Media circled the wagons to tell us the late show's cancellation was in no particular order. And this is true, folks. Read this along with me. This is amazing. This is what the journalist told you. That Colbert, him going bye-bye was the end of democracy. And if you don't believe that, Sonny Hostin said it. The end of free speech. Yeah, also Sonny Hostin. The end of speaking truth to power, proof of President Trump's authoritarian impulses. Never mind that outlets kept talking to folks behind the scenes at CBS and couldn't find a single fact to back the letter up. They also discovered that he was losing $40 to $50 million a year and had been for years. Now the same platforms are sharing stories to help explain why late night TV is on its last legs. Consider Jay Leno. Now, we covered this, folks, but we'll play a brief snippet of it. Enjoy as we go to the chin. Not the Crimson Chin, but the one who wins in late night, Jay Leno.
I like to think that people come to a comedy show to kind of get away from the things, the pressures of life, wherever it might be. And I love political humor. Don't get me wrong, but it's just what happens was people wind up cozying too much to one side or the other. Why shoot for just half an audience all the time? Why not try to get the whole? I mean, I like to bring people into the big picture. I don't understand why you would alienate one particular group.
Okay, now this is the perfect place for us to kick off a discussion, because it turns out, and we ran the numbers, Colbert was losing $40 to $50 million a year. But if he had twice the audience, because one half of the nation decided not to turn it off when he came on, he would have been turning something like a $20 million profit. Now, if you're doing one of these shows and you figure out, oh no, I'm going to lose this, like this cakewalk is going to be over, I don't get to be on TV and read other people's jokes that they wrote for me, then you might say to yourself, darn it, I'm going to have double the audience. And the way to do that is to stop ripping on half the audience. Shocker. Jay Leno lays it out. Piers Morgan, Bill Maher, and maybe a few others are going to do that, I believe. And I think that's the way to achieve a win and keep late night on. But I want to ask the panel, and specifically, let me go to Blaine first. Blaine, there is the narrative out there that late night is doomed, that it's all because people are moving to streaming. I don't believe that for a second, but I'm curious from you, did they sacrifice late night for politics, or is this just part of the march forward in technology? People just aren't tuning into late night because they can stream it anytime they want.
I honestly think it's a double whammy, because, I mean, it's kind of leaning into that joke. It's this whole cultural thing about millennials, killing the ticker tape parades and all of these things, where we have like these age brackets where people are stopping doing the legacy things that people have done forever. And I think that the combination of that with the hyper politicization of these late night shows is just this like pairing of two terrible things for these shows, where they're already viewing late at night, where people are used to seeing whatever they want, whenever they want, however, wherever. And these are like scheduled viewings, and people don't really work that way anymore, at least as far as your younger audience goes. So you've got that. And then you have this politicized element where you're also splitting your older audience who is.
Uh-oh, looks like Blaine has been frozen. He's in an e-stop, ladies and gentlemen. Hope he doesn't break down like the Walt animatronic. Maybe it's just me. Has everybody seen a frozen Blaine at the moment?
Yes.
Am I better?
You're better. He's back.
Okay.
Thank goodness for Starlink. Go ahead, Blaine.
Yeah,
you lost about 10 seconds. Rewind 10 and keep going again.
Yeah, essentially the long and short of it is this kind of combination of these things coming together, of this these younger viewers not showing up for this late night stuff because they can view things whenever, however, wherever they want, and then also splitting your older audience who is still watching all of these late night shows. That's, I mean, it doesn't get any worse. So you're already having a smaller audience pool than you used to would have had just due to all the streaming and everything, and then you've split that audience again. So it's just kind of a double whammy for them. I don't see any way that they can continue to survive in this method because they were already struggling because of the cultural stuff anyways. So
absolutely. Now, Erica, I want to go to you, but you've got the best backdrop on YouTube every single time. It changes, and yet it's like we venture into a new attraction. I mean, I think you're at Imagineer level at this point. Erica, I want to ask you, as someone who watches the new media, what are you tuning into in place of the people who used to tell jokes and tell jokes no more? What are you watching instead?
You guys. Yeah, all of you guys.
That was the right answer, Erica. I like that answer a lot. Yes, please.
But it's the truth. I like the takes. Maybe it's because we all kind of lean in the same direction. It's not all. It's centered, conservative, and I've gotten so tired of the constant, for lack of better words, propaganda and the constant tearing down of the audience, and just, I don't know it. And I've never gotten into the late night comedy stuff. I've never, and I don't know, I can't speak to other Gen Xers. I know boomers, my in-laws, I think maybe are still watching late night. Gen Z, forget it.
Right.
No, they don't. They could give a rat's
the people
butt.
the people they're pandering to are the ones not watching.
Let me toss an idea to everybody, because I want people to understand just how simple this is. The mainstream wants to confuse you. They want to give you all of this jargon and nonsense. Here's how simple this is. If you went to McDonald's, or you went to Taco Bell, or you went to Checkers, Rallies, wherever, doesn't matter to me, wherever you go, a fast food place, okay? If they asked you when you came in the door what your politics were, and if you said that you were of a particular political persuasion, and they said, all right, that's fine, come on in, we're going to spit on your burger, you wouldn't go there. And they would lose tremendous amounts of business. This is what Colbert did. This is what Jimmy Fallon have done. And by the way, we are just nailing Jimmy Kimmel, because he's got a game show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and he's pulling 1/4 or 1/5 of what Regis Philbin did 20 years ago, and the media is trying to run cover for him. It's sad, it's silly. But what happened is these guys, they became associated with spitting on your burger. And now that half the audience is gone, rather than saying, man, maybe we shouldn't keep spitting on the people's food, now the media's cover for them is, late night is doomed. This was always going to happen. There's no way. And it's like, no. There was a chance for you to have some legs. Not the same as in the past. But you chose to wipe out half the audience. You did it on purpose.
Can I point out two things in the past that have been brought up to go after guys like Leno or even Conan? I saw somebody try to defend Colbert by saying, well, what about all those times Jay Leno made fun of Monica Lewinsky? Like, well, that wasn't a political thing nearly as much as it was a scandal involving a political person.
Hold on a second. He would go after Monica, and then he would hit Newt Gingrich the next joke right after it. Go ahead, Monica.
Yeah, so we have an article right now on That Park Place comparing the reactions of Jay Leno and David Letterman, the two former late night kings, to the situation. Whereas Leno said, as we heard, it's the political humor, you're dividing people, and Letterman just blasted CBS and called them cowards. So in that article, Leno reflects on a 2009 George Mason University analysis that found his jokes from 92 to 2008. He had 2,999 jokes about George W. Bush and 4,468 jokes about Bill Clinton, which is about like right in the same sphere. When you consider that one had a major, scandal going on. So there are, Jay Leno was very balanced. He hit both sides the way you should, because that was back at a time where we were actually able to laugh about things like this. Like even when it's your own side, you're able to laugh about it because it's funny. Dick Cheney accidentally shooting a guy in the face was objectively like funny because the guy wasn't hurt, but like that was
we should tell our younger viewers he lived, so that's why it's funny.
No, it was bird shot. But like I remember I watched The Daily Show that day, and it was one of the funniest things I had ever watched in my life, because at the time we were all allowed to just laugh at things, and the death of comedy is something that needs to be studied, and they're trying to resurrect it this year with things like The Naked Gun, with things like the Tom Brady roast from last year. So we'll see if they actually can.
There you go.
And I remember even Stephen Colbert's show back in college, where he had, the whole thing was kind of, he ripped on right and left, but he was more of like the conservative pundit. But I was in college at the time, a lot of liberal people, everybody still watched it. Everybody still thought it was hilarious. And he was able to ride that line well. And so it was a huge shock when he went to late night and everybody was like, what happened? Like, this guy's doing a totally different bit.
Yeah, because we stopped getting Stephen Colbert, the character that was doing a satirical take on Bill O'Reilly, and we started getting Stephen Colbert, the actual human being, who everyone very quickly realized they don't like.
That's right. You took the mask off the jester, and it wasn't something pleasant behind. Folks, we'll keep an eye on this, but you're watching the bifurcation of late night. You've got Piers, you've got Bill Maher, and I know that Piers Morgan might not technically be a late night, but you're going to see others begin to make that move, those who don't want to lose their jobs. I don't think Seth Meyers is going to do it. I don't think that Jimmy Kimmel has any inkling of doing that, but Jimmy Fallon might, and that would be the only way to survive in the current late night economy. Folks, it's time to bid you adieu, but we hope that you will help us anew, and that is, we're only asking you click that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those algorithms. It is the notification bell, and drop a comment down below. And oh, by the way, have you gone the way of thatparkplace.com? www.thatparkplace.com. It's the website that if you're not yet bookmarked to, well, you should be. A bastion of truth and knowledge when it comes to entertainment and everything that's going on. Go check it out today, folks. We would love to have you over there as well. All right, we are getting ready to head out, but do not fret, for we will put out 4 more videos tomorrow, so long as the good Lord allows. And we believe that probably, just might, happen. All right, until the next time we get to share time with you, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Jump into the water!
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.